Alright guys, welcome back. Now I have the guide for the Snake Eyes Azamina Fiendsmith deck. There are a lot of different deck variations that you can play. You will find guides for mostly all of them throughout the upcoming days on my channel here. This might be one of the strongest ones. Honestly, we can play a good amount of non-engine and we have a crazy endboard. I will show you two important combos that you need to understand in order to play this deck correctly. Let me quickly rearrange this here and then you will understand how this works. A very strong deck combining the Fiendsmith engine, the Azamina engine with the fusion monsters as well as the Snake Eyes engine. So we are having here triple or two maxis because now it is a 2. We have 3 Ash Blossoms, a very strong hand trap. I think Nibiru can be very nice, especially in combination with Effect Veilers or Impermanences, because a lot of decks will be able to establish this Omni Negate Idia Sylvia very early on. We will also be able to do this, you will see this in a second, but if you have your Infinite Impermanence or your Effect Veiler plus a Nibiru, you can dodge this and clear the entire board before an Appaloosa, that is. So that is very, very strong. Imperm just because it's crazy. We have the Caught by and the Crossout package, and then here are 3 Effect Veilers. The format that we are currently in is a hand trap heavy format. You want to stop your opponent, you will most likely need more than one hand trap to stop your opponent since we have so many different pushes. So if they stop our Diabell Star, then we still have the Fiendsmith stuff, we still have the Snake Eyes stuff. It is crazy how much these decks will be able to do. So we need a lot of hand traps. Fortunately, this deck can provide this. We are playing the Snake Eyes package, 1 Temple of the Snake Eye, Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. We are playing 1 OSS. We are playing 1 Poplar, 1 Snake Eyes Ash, 1 Snake Eyes Oak, the Snake Eyes Diabell Star, and 1 Snake Eyes Flamberge, as well as the 2 Bonfires. And then for the Azamina engine, we are playing the Hallowed Azamina at 1. Triple Deception of the Sympho Spoils, one of our best starters. We will need some multiple cards to start with this, since this needs to tribute a monster from hand or field, and then we will need another random discard from our hand, but this is not tough to get, so it's not really a 3-card combo, it's more a 1.5 card combo with Deception that is really, really strong, and I will show you in a second. We have our 1 Wanted here, Triple Diabell Star, also a very good opener that I will show you the line for, and then we have the 2 engravers that we have available here, 1 Fiendsmith Tract, 1 Lacrima, and the Fabled Lurry, as well as our Angel Statue Azurune that we can summon with our Silhouette Wabbit. You can also go ahead and use the other summonable trap. I think that the Angel Statue is way better though. We have 1 Idia Sylvia, 1 Mu Rishielago, the Promethean Princess, an Anima, Masquerina, SP Little Knight, the Silhouette Rabbit, the Appaloosa, very important. We have the Fiendsmith sequence together with Requiem. There's also DD Wafting I see that you can make in a few combos. We have a Lacrima together with the Beatrice. If you start with your Fiendsmith engine, then you can bridge into your Snake Eyes engine with this combo here. We have our Fiendsmith Desiree and obviously our Moon of the Closed Heaven, giving us the ability to bridge with any 2 effect bodies into our Fiendsmith engine. So this is the deck. I think it's a very clean 40 list with most important hand traps. You could change some of these out for board breakers if you wanted to, but I think hand traps are way more effective since the boards will be mostly unbreakable. So I think hand traps are the way to go, honestly. And now let's hop on over to the combo part where I will show you the most important combos so that you understand how this deck wants to operate. Alright, in this combo we are starting with our Deception of the Sinful Spoils. We will need 1 monster in the hand and 1 random discard, so not tough to get. We are starting with our Deception of the Sinful Spoils, tributing 1 monster from our hand. This is why we need the monster or field to add 1 Azamina card from deck to hand. The Hallowed Azamina, very important one that we can use to reveal 1 Azamina fusion monster in our extra deck, and for every 4 levels it has rounded down. We are sending 1 Sinful Spoils card from the hand and or field to the graveyard, in this case the Deception, to basically fusion summon the monster from the extra deck. We're using the Hallowed Azamina for our Mui Rishielago. This is a very important one because if Mui Rishielago is fusion summoned, we can add 1 Azamina or Sinful Spoils card from deck to hand. So you're basically always adding the one that you are missing. In this case, we are adding the Wanted here because we want access to our Diabell Star. If we start with our Diabell Star, as you will see in the second combo, we will add the original Sinful Spoils. But this is a very important bridge card here. Also, if you are playing against this deck, it makes sense to Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler this, since this needs to fetch in this specific instant the Wanted, which is a one-off, so very unlikely that your opponent has hard opened it. We're activating Wanted to get the Diabell Star, and this is where we need the discard for, because we need to summon Diabell Star with our discard here, and then Diabell Star can set the 3rd card in the pack basically. So with Diabell Star, in a few other combos you will need to set a Deception of the Sympho Spoils to start your combo, but in this case we can set the original Sinful Spoils so that we can send it away to the graveyard. But I will explain this Azamina combo in a second here. This is very important. So now we are linking them away because we need to have the fusion monster in the grave so that we can re-add the Hallowed Azamina to our hand so that we can fusion summon into our Omni Negate. We are going into an IP Masquerina. She will be part of our end board. Now we can activate Hallowed Azamina in the graveyard, shuffling back Mu Rishialago to add back the Hallowed Azamina. Once again, the Hallowed Azamina needs a Sinful Spoils card to be sent away, and we have the OSS. Quick little thing to note here: if you have the Wanted in hand, what you can do is go chain link the Hallowed Azamina, chain link to Wanted, and then you can send away your Wanted that basically is still on the field as cost, so you have activated the Hallowed Azamina's effect for free. So we activate Hallowed Azamina, sending away the OSS for Ilya Sylvia. And Ilya Sylvia is an Omni Negate. Quick effect, we contribute her to have an Omni Negate for anything on the field or in the hand. So at this point we are Nibiru safe. This is always what you want to do with the start of your Azamina combo. And then the last thing that Azamina gives us, since you might be asking, okay, and how do we get from here to all the other stuff that we want to do? We can now activate in our graveyard the original Sinful Spoils. We are banishing the card to put back the Diabellstar and grab a level 1 fire to the hand. We are grabbing Snake Ash and we have not yet normal summoned, and this is basically where you want to achieve with all your combos. You want to get nip safe with your Ilya Sylvia, and then you want to get access to your Snake Eyes portion. The next thing we are going to do is obviously normal summon Snake Eye Ash. Now there's the Snake Eyes line, we are going to add the Poplar, and because the OSS is not that important in this deck, it's more for sending it away and grabbing the Snake Eyes Ash. We will grab the Temple here, activate the Temple to place Snake Eyes Diabellstar. Then we use Snake Eyes Ash and send away the Ash and the Diabellstar to get the Oak, and then Oak can now revive the Ash here. And what we are going to do now, because we have 2 bodies to spare, the Ash and the Poplar, don't use the Oak here since we need the Oak's effect to send away for the Flamberge in a second. Now we are going to go into Moon of the Closed Heaven. If you have 2 bodies laying on the board basically that you don't need to use anymore, you can make them into a Moon and therefore access your Fiendsmith engine through that. So we start with the Azamina engine. This gets us into our Snake Eyes engine, and this gets us with some extra bodies into our Fiendsmith engine. So next thing we are going to do is set the Poplar or activate Poplar's effect to set back Snake Eyes Diabellstar in the spell trap zone. If you're wondering, this is in Japanese, but this basically says that we can special summon it to the field by placing another fire monster from grave in the spell trap zone. This will be an additional body in a second here and will give us an additional body to send away. Now we are going for Fiendsmith stuff. We are going Requiem into pretty basic Lacrima, like you always do. Then Lacrima can send our Engraver here that we will use later on. Now we're using Snake Eyes Diabellstar, putting back the Poplar, doesn't really matter which one here. And now we have our free send away for our Snake Eyes Oak. So this deck is very efficient in using all the resources that it can. We are sending away here to go for the Flamberge Dragon. At this point we have a lot of extra bodies here, and we can now go into an Appaloosa for 4 materials here. You want to leave either the Snake Eyes Diabellstar or the Poplar on the field. It's important, somewhat important, to get the Lacrima into the graveyard. You don't need to do it right now, but just do it. And you need to get the Flamberge Dragon in the graveyard, because the Flamberge Dragon will now revive 2 bodies that we will need in a second. So we have now our Omni Negate here and a 4 material Appaloosa that is also cannot be destroyed by card effects basically, because this was made with IP Masquerina's effect, and IP Masquerina says a link monster that used this card as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So Raigeki, for example, would not break this Appaloosa. Then we can use our Engraver, shuffling back the Moon. Moon always makes sense if you do not have the Lurry in the grave already. Note that we have not used the complete Fiendsmith line here. We still have the Tract and the Lurry in the deck. Now we are using the Fiendsmith, and you can also use one of these, doesn't really matter, to go into our Fiendsmith sequence here. And then we are going to fusion summon into our end boss monster here. Shuffle all the fiends that we have in grave back. This is a bit unfortunate because normally you want a setup grave, which means that you want Fiendsmith stuff in your grave for the next turn, but it doesn't really matter. We will be able to probably win with this board that we are building right here, making the Desiree, and now you can go link 3. Once again, it doesn't really matter whether you use Poplar or Oak to the Promethean Princess, because we need back our Flamberge Dragon, because we will need the Flamberge Dragon firstly for follow-up, and also because the IP Masquerina must get back into the spell trap zone. So now we can equip Fiendsmith sequence to the Desiree here. Next thing we are going to do is make the Flamberge Dragon live, put him here in defense, and then we activate him to set IP Masquerina. And now we can do a very cool play. We can use our Fiendsmith Desiree, negating, oh sorry, we are doing something, oh yeah, we have done this. We use the Fiendsmith Desiree, it just doesn't show, negating our own Promethean Princess, so you activate this effect to negate your own Promethean Princess, thereby you are no longer fire locked, and now you can summon the Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette Rabbit activates to set either the Azarune or the other trap, the head trick I think it's called, and now at this point you want to use your wanted for an additional draw. You want to wait until here, because otherwise you might draw into the last thing that we want to search out from our deck, which is the Angel Statue Azarune, and you don't want to draw into this card. Also, we have a lot of hand traps in the deck that we want to draw here. So what we have here, and this is totally insane, this is one of the best end boards ever and basically unbreakable. We have this Omni Negate, Illa Sylvia, we have the statue which is an inherent summon negate from the extra deck, another Diabellstar for example, Kashtira Fenrir. We can summon our IP into an SP. We have our 2 Omni Negates on the field face up cards with our Fiendsmith Desiree. We have Silhouette Rabbit which can destroy a card if we summon our Angel Statue. We have 4 Appaloosa Negates and we have Promethean Princess in the graveyard, so our opponent will most likely not be able to break this insane board that we basically achieved with 1 card. So now let me show you what you can do, or how you have to play this combo basically if you are starting with your Diabellstar, which is very likely since you have 3 copies of it in your deck. So we have the Diabellstar line here, we're starting with the Diabellstar now, and I think it's very important to understand this basic long combo. If you have done this enough times or seen this enough times in different iterations, then you understand how this deck basically wants to operate, and then it's easier to learn every other combo line. So in a perfect world, we will always want to start with our setup of the Illa Sylvia so that we are protected from Nip, for example. And we are going to achieve this now. Just imagine this wasn't a deception of the Sinful Spoils. This is just our discard. Otherwise, this would be a better opener, obviously. But we are discarding one of our discards, not the monster for the Diabellstar. So we have a monster still in hand because we need it in a second. We are setting the Deception of the Sinful Spoils, activating Deception, once again tributing a monster from the hand because we need this body on the field, grabbing the Hallowed Azamina. Once again, it's always the Hallowed, activating Hallowed. We are going into Mu Rishialago, standing away, and at this point we are going to grab OSS, Original Sinful Spoils, not the Wanted, since we already have the Wanted. Now we are going to go into an IP Masquerina, sorry, not because we already had the Diabellstar. We have no access to the Wanted. Once again, going into an IP Masquerina, and you know the drill from here. We are shuffling back Mu Rishialago for the Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed Azamina sends away the OSS for Illa Sylvia, and now we are nip safe once again. And from here on out, it's basically the same combo line. Now we want to go into our Snake Eyes engine, shuffle back Diastar, grab our Snake Eyes Ash, normal summon, going to grab our Snake Eyes Poplar, which we can now special summon. Snake Eyes engine going hard here. Now we are going to add the Temple, get our Snake Eyes Diabellstar so that we can send away the Snake Eyes Diabellstar with our Snake Eyes Ash, grab the Snake Eyes Oak so that we can once again send away for a Flamberge Dragon, revive the Snake Eyes Ash first though. Now it's Fiendsmith time, go into the Moon of the Closed Heaven here, and then we are going to use Poplar's effect because it went to grave, grab the Diabellstar, go through the Fiendsmith line, Fiendsmith Requiem into Fiendsmith Lacrima, into our Engraver, and then we are going to once again use the Snake Eyes Diabellstar, put back whatever, it doesn't really matter here. Now we have this body situation, we can send for the Flamberge Dragon, and now we make our Appaloosa here and are even safer than before. At this point we would also be safe against a Nip and an Effect Veiler, so the Nip Effect Veiler combo does not work anymore since we have this Appaloosa on the board now. Snake Eyes Converge gets us back the bodies, and now we are going to activate in the graveyard Fiendsmith Engraver, shuffle back Moon, summon Engraver. Now is the sequence part of the combo. We make sequence, we fusion summon here into our end boss monster. We could also, if you wanted to, with a different board state, you could also go for the Wave King High Caesar, but obviously the Desiree is the better monster. Make the Desiree, and then we are linking away into Promethean Princess once again, getting our Flamberge Dragon back to get our IP Masquerina back in the spell trap zone. Same thing as we did before basically. We are going to set this, and now we once again use the effect of sequence, attach to the Desiree. We are negating our own Princess for the Shielded Rabbit, setting the trap, but in this combo line we will not be able to draw a card since we have no Wanted in our grave. This is the difference, but this is how you play it with a Diabell Star opening. And then if you start, for example, with Snake Eyes, then obviously it's a bit different. With a Snake Eyes start, for example, Snake Eyes Ash start, you would not go, you have no way to go into your Azamina engine basically, but you obviously can always go into the Fiendsmith engine, which is what you would do then, and this board would look a bit different, minus the Ilya Sylvia and probably minus another body here, but still would be very strong. And I think this might be one of the strongest, if not the strongest deck in our current new meta. This will be everywhere, I suppose. We'll also see a lot of Jubel, I guess, but this is very strong. And if you understand this combo line and how these three different engines want to interact and want to go into each other, I guess you understand how to play these combos. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. And guys, we will see each other in the next one. Keep an eye out for even more combo videos with all the new decks and all the new variants that you can play.